Hey everyone, Chris here from IELTSadvantage.com. Hope that you're all doing well, and in this lesson we're going to look at the wrong and right way to move from a band 6, 6.5 to a band 7 or above. So many of you are stuck at a band 6 or 6.5 and need to move beyond that. And many of you are frustrated because you've no idea why you are stuck there. So 99% of you watching this video, you're doing at least one of these things. If you're doing at least one of these things, you are going to continuously fail over and over and over and over again. This is based on me helping thousands of students over many, many years. 1% of you are doing all of these things correct. The 1% or less than 1% of you who are watching this that do these things are going to move forward and get the scores that they need. And the great thing about these things are they do not require intelligence or IQ or money or anything like that. Anyone can do them, all right? So let's talk about each of these things. So let's think about the wrong side as like student A. So student A is doing everything wrong. They failed the test over and over and over and over again. Student B, they might have done some of those things in the past, but they got the help that they need. They might have spoken to me or they might have joined one of my courses and we help them do all of these things. They are going to move forward and get the scores that they need. So let's look at each of these individually. If you are looking for quick fixes, hacks, shortcuts, tips, these types of things, and you think that's going to get you the score you need, you're going to fail over and over and over again. Because in order to do well on the speaking test, the writing test, the reading test, the listening test, you need a very deep understanding of what you need to do. So I've created this, I didn't create it myself, it's Bloom's taxonomy, but it gives you a very good idea about why tips and tricks and hacks don't work. So basically what you're doing with tips and tricks and hacks, they're mostly memorization. Memorizing phrases, memorizing vocabulary, memorizing whole essays, memorizing structures, things like that. So you're going to remember those things, but it's very rare that you're actually going to be able to understand those things. And these are just the first two things that you need to do. You need to apply what you've learned. So if you don't understand what you've learned, you're not going to be able to apply it to an essay or to answers in your speaking test. You also need to analyze and evaluate. You need to analyze the question. You need to analyze and evaluate your own writing or your own speaking in the test while you're doing it. You should be reading your essay, thinking about the paragraphs, thinking about every word and analyzing them and evaluating them and thinking about them in terms of a band 7. Because to get a band 7, you need to do band 7 things. If you don't understand what those are, you can't apply them, you can't do these things as well. At the top here are things that memorization, tricks, tips, hacks are never going to help you with. That's creativity. Everyone has some creativity in them. You don't need to be an artist or a musician to be creative. So let's think about writing. You need to be able to create ideas, develop those ideas. A structure or memorizing essays is not going to help you do those things. Understanding exactly what you need to do, having a deep understanding of what you need to do and applying and evaluating and creating, that's what you need to do in order to move up to a band 7 or above. Tips and tricks and hacks and quick fixes and all of those things, they're not going to help you. Next is students who continue to get 6 or 6.5, and this is ironic, I'll tell you why it's ironic in a minute, is they want everything done very, very, very quickly. So I spoke to a student the other day who had failed the test nearly every month for 3 years. And the reason why it took her 3 years to get the score that she needed was she was continuously just wanting, I want it done in a month. And then she'd fail. Okay, I want it done in a month. Then she'd fail. Okay, I want it done in a month. And then she'd fail again. She was totally unrealistic about the time that it takes to do it. I believe that any student can get any score they want within a reasonable time frame. So you have to be realistic about the amount of time that it's going to take you to get the scores that you need. Let's think of some things that you need to do well. Pronunciation. You're not going to improve intonation, sentence stress, connected speech. You're not going to improve those things in a month. Grammar and vocabulary as well. You're not going to improve those things in a week. That might sound silly, but we get emails every single Friday, the day before the test, saying, my test is tomorrow, can you help me? Like, no, I'm really, really sorry. One of the questions that we ask our students before they join the VIP course is, how long do you have? If they are totally unrealistic about the amount of time it takes, we don't allow them to join, because they're never going to get the scores that they need, and we only work with people who are realistic and are going to get those scores. So if you are thinking that you can do things really, really quickly, you're kind of acting like a 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old boy, and he's actually really mature for his age. He will come into my office and he'll look at Amazon, and if he wants to buy a book on Amazon, I'll let him buy a book maybe once a week, just a cheap like $3 Power Rangers book or something like that. And I'll tell him, okay, you've picked the book, but it's going to take you 3 days. It's going to take the postman 3 days to get it to us. And he's totally fine with that. And he waits those 3 days. So, but an unreasonable 3-year-old would look at Amazon and say, I want that now, and go crazy because they want it immediately. So if you think that you can do the test and prepare in a day or 2 weeks, you are less mature than a 3-year-old. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's true. It's kind of like going into the doctor and saying, you know, I broke my leg, fix it in a day. Like, no, you have to be realistic. Some things take time. So the third thing is, students who continually fail the test consume information, and they trick themselves into thinking that they're busy. So these students will watch every YouTube video, will read every blog, will read every book. If you go to their house, their houses are just their bedrooms or their offices, there's a stack of IELTS books. And they think that they're progressing. They think that they're busy, but they're not. They're doing nothing. You really are doing nothing if you just consume information, because you have to do the things. In order to get a band 7 or above, you have to do band 7 or above things. You have to do it. The World Cup is on at the moment. Could I watch the World Cup every single match and then become a better footballer at the end of the World Cup? No, that's ridiculous. Could I read a book about how to be a doctor or how to be anything? No, you actually have to do those things in order to get better at them. So just reading all the books, watching all the videos is not going to help you. You actually have to do the things, and most importantly, you have to get feedback on your work, because if you don't, you will have no idea where you're going wrong. So stop consuming and do more doing, and that's going to help you out. Students who continually fail the test go from teacher to teacher to teacher, blog to blog to blog, YouTube channel to YouTube channel, read all the books, all the different things, and they're getting all the information from multiple sources. Now, if it's online, 90% of those sources are going to be incorrect. So that's a problem. But even if you're looking at 5 different, or getting 5 different teachers to help you out, maybe you have 2 real teachers and 3 online teachers, your writing and your speaking is a reflection of your thinking. So if you're going into the test and you start writing your answer and you're thinking, okay, one teacher said this, another teacher said that, a different teacher said don't do that, another teacher said do that, like, you're going to be so confused that you're going to get really frustrated and your whole essay is going to be a complete mess. Students who move to a 7 or above use one reliable source of information. I'm not saying this because I want you to join me. I only work with a very, very small number of students, only students who I think I can help. So I'm not saying this so that you can join me, but figure out one reliable source of information. That could be a real teacher, it could be a website or a course or a school, and follow that only. Not only will you be very coherent and very clear on what you need to do, it's going to save you a huge amount of time, and you're going to do far less consuming and far more doing, ignoring the things that don't matter and focusing on the things that do matter. Okay, so talking about use one source of information. So now finally, let's talk about how to find that source of information, how to find a good school, how to find a good teacher, how to find a good online course. So price. So price is important, money is important, of course, But many of you are buying a course or finding a teacher and your sole consideration is price. You're trying to find the lowest, the course that costs the least amount of money, or the teacher or the course or the school that costs the least amount of money. So let's think about that for a second. Imagine you were buying a house and you looked up the listings and tried to find the cheapest house possible in your area. You're going to move in there and it's going to be in a terrible area. It's going to be falling apart. The roof will be coming in. The electrics will be shot. Everything's going to be wrong with that house. It's going to be a terrible experience for you, and you'll end up having to either spend a fortune fixing it or move out and buy another house and waste a lot of time and money. Same with a car. Imagine buying a car based solely on price. You looked for the cheapest car that you could find. That car is going to continuously break down, cost you money, cost you time. It's going to be a disaster. Why do you think IELTS teachers, courses, schools are any different? There is a hierarchy in anything. Doctors, nurses, lawyers, teachers. The best get paid the most. The worst get paid the least, normally. So why do you think IELTS teachers are any different? No one who is really good at their job is going to do it at a very, very, very low price. So, how do you choose a teacher? Don't look at price. Obviously, you need to consider it, but look at their results, all right? So if a teacher is getting results, and I don't mean fake results that a lot of schools put up, but I mean real, actual students getting real results consistently. If they are getting you their results, they're probably going to be a little bit more expensive, but you're going to save so much time and so much money because you're going to pass the test. If you fail the test, think about how much money it's going to cost you in fees, in travel, in teachers or schools, not getting that job that you want. It's going to end up costing you a huge amount of money. Go with the teacher that gets real results. And I mean real ones. I don't mean fake ones that a lot of teachers post up. Other thing that you should avoid is teachers who make big, unrealistic promises. Go to any city in India or any Asian city and walk around for 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes you'll see a poster, IELTS school, guaranteed band 8 in 24 hours or something silly like that. You'll see these everywhere. They're not promising this because they're able to do it. They're promising it to you because you're vulnerable and they want to take your money. Alright, so be very, very, very careful with unrealistic promises. They're basically just telling you what you want to hear. We don't do that. So if a student asks me, can you guarantee? Like, no, we can't at all. I'm sorry, we don't do that. Because the number one determining factor is your work ethic. And I have no control over that. So we don't guarantee anything. Instead of looking for empty promises, look for quality. Are they actually a good teacher? Do they get results? Look at the materials they produce. Are they, just silly pictures with, like let's fight IELTS or something like that? Or are they producing high quality materials? If they're copying stuff from other people, probably not really, or like using copyrighted material and just giving it away for free, maybe not the people to trust. If someone is really, really good, they'll have very reliable results, consistent results, and they'll be able to put out really high quality, consistent content normally. So the last one, this sounds a bit strange, but it's something that I see increasing a lot. It's an increasing trend amongst IELTS schools and English schools in general. Schools hiring people based on how they look rather than whether they are a good teacher or not. There was one school, I'll not name it, but I looked at their website and it looked like American Idol or like Britain's Got Talent rather than an IELTS school. There's nothing about IELTS, just beautiful teachers with their hair all lovely and really nice clothes. Go to Harvard or Cambridge or Oxford or MIT. Do they do that with their professors and their teachers? No, because it's nothing to do with education, all right? If somebody is spending more time looking in the mirror than looking at your writing or analysing your speaking, there's a big problem there. Now, I'm not saying that all good-looking teachers are bad teachers, but if the school that you're going to pays more attention to marketing and how their teachers look rather than teaching their students, and that strange thing, actually looking after students, there's a big problem which you should be aware of. Instead of trying to find a teacher with a nice hairstyle, why not find a teacher with a good reputation in your local area, online, whatever that is. Again, I'm not saying this so you can join me. We only work with a very small number of students, but it's just, I see so many of these people failing over and over again because they're doing at least one of these things and they're not doing all of these things. And it's really simple, guys. All you have to do is do these things, and these are very simple and open to everybody. Okay, so if tips and tricks and quick fixes worked, if these things worked, I would tell you, because that's what I want. I want you to get the scores that you need and move on with your lives. Unfortunately, they do not. All right, so I have about 10 minutes to answer any questions, so let me I'm looking for 15 to 20 day classes. Is it available? We are very different from most other online courses, schools, whatever. We don't do number of classes, number of weeks. We don't have time limits at all. When you join our course, there's one price. We give you all the help and support you need until you pass. That's it. Because time limits put pressure on students, create stress. We want to actually look after you, so we don't do that. Sorry, you're looking so yeah, I spent a long time looking in the mirror today. No, I'm not. Could you tell us how we overcome vocabulary and grammar? You don't overcome grammar and vocabulary. You learn how to use grammar and vocabulary. That's all you have to do. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but there's no, I think that you're asking, is there a quick fix or a trick to learn grammar and vocabulary fast? No. I want to join your mock speaking test for $79. Can you tell me how many mock speaking tests will be provided in that package? 1. Which parts of grammar should we improve? The parts that you struggle with. So, that could be punctuation, tenses, articles, prepositions, verb subject agreement, many things. Figure out what you need to work on. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. So get an expert. And it doesn't have to be an expert English teacher. It could be just a native English speaker to look at your writing, listen to your speaking, and tell you which areas of grammar you really struggle with, and then focus on your weakest areas first, and then improve that. Next weakest area. I don't have anyone to check my writing tests. We do that. Check out IELTSadvantage.com. Your course is so expensive. Yes, it's expensive for a reason, because it really works. As I said, there's a hierarchy of teachers and courses. Ours is expensive, but that's because we're at the top of the hierarchy. We actually look after our students and make sure they get the scores they need. If I did a course for $50, it would be cheap, but it would be terrible, because a $50 course I'm not going to be able to give you any help whatsoever. It's just going to be a bunch of videos. A $500 course is going to get you the scores you need. So I know everybody can't afford $500, but is $500 cheaper than failing the test multiple times? Absolutely. So, don't pick teachers and courses based on price. You wouldn't do it with anything else. So why do you think something this important is different? I would love to join, however I don't know how to manage my time. There is a video on this YouTube channel that is called How to Manage Your Time, I think, but have a look. I heard a lot about your advanced grammar course from a friend of mine, but I can't find it on your website. It's not available to anyone other than VIPs. Only the VIP students that I deal with, I offer them the grammar course and that's it. So that's why you can't find it. It's not available to the public. Okay guys, so I got to run because I have to do a live lesson with my VIPs actually. So if you've enjoyed that, please give it a like. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you want to get future videos, please subscribe. It's a free video. All we ask is you do one of those things in return. If you have any IELTS questions, you can pop a comment or go to IELTSadvantage.com. It will answer 99% of your IELTS questions. If you want our help with your preparation, you can send me an email, chris@IELTSadvantage.com, chris@IELTSadvantage.com, and we can't guarantee that we'll be able to help you because we don't work with students who believe any of this. We only work with students who are, want a deep understanding, are realistic, are prepared to do the things that they need to do. But if you are one of those people, please email us. We would like to help you. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.